All right, I'm going to call to order the collective committee meeting for City of Avon Lake Council for February 2nd, 7 o'clock. And the first item on the agenda for the collective committee meeting is public input. Anyone wishing to address council, please come forward, and you'll have 5 minutes to address council.
Good evening, William Zimmerman.
Good evening, Mr. Zimmerman.
So, at the safety meeting that Mr. Koss had last week sometime, I believe, I brought up the point that there was a woman who came to the police station to file a victim crime of revenge porn. And the officer who started her complaint and started to talk to her about it didn't handle it properly, to the point where he said, "What do you want us to do about it?" That's a quote in the paper. So obviously our staff, meaning the higher ups at the police department, potentially has not made sure everybody's been trained properly in regards to these kinds of matters. I find that hard to believe. That a woman would come to the people that she's supposed to trust to help her in a situation like this and gets no help. Ineffective leadership. Safety director in our city is the mayor. Should start from there and work its way down. I've asked for years now that the mayor and the safety director be two separate positions. Yet that nothing's occurred. Council's never even taken the idea up. I don't understand. Like I say many times, I don't understand. So this poor woman is telling her story to somebody who can't or won't be able to help her. Now there's an advocate here in the city. Took a long time to get one. As you all know, I've made statements about the advocate in the process when my significant other was raped here in the city of Avon Lake. There was not an advocate at that time. The detectives victimized her, saying that she was the aggressor. Yet, when she leaves and is drunk and passes out, has very little recollection of what occurs until somebody hits her with something. And yet, they didn't try to help her at all. I've asked before to show tapes here, videotapes of the interview. Mrs. Fenderbosch wouldn't allow me to show a tape. I'm glad to show each and every one of you what happened with the detective. You'll be appalled. So again, I'm going to say, is our police force prepared for situations like this? I don't believe they are. I've lived through one of them already. Somehow, some way, we need to find a way to make sure that our police force is more sympathetic to the victim instead of accusatory. I don't know how that'll occur. Somewhere, somehow, someday, I pray that there aren't other women who have to go to the Avon Lake Police Department to put up with what we've put up with. So we now have the ballot in May. We're gonna take off one tax to add another. That doesn't sound proper to me. Why are we able to take off why don't we just take it off now anyhow? But only if the other one passes. Vote no when it comes to the new income tax.
Thank you. Mayor, did you have anything you wanted to comment on regarding the police investigation?
Obviously, I can't comment on the investigation. I will comment that I'm aware of the situation. The police department has handled that with both an internal investigation and additional training. And they're very well aware of the situation, both Mr. Zimmerman's and the more recent one that he's talking about.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I would like to address, since my name came up, when I was council president, I did not, with topic-specific, deny the video showing of anything. Had nothing to do with the topic or the subject. It had to do with the video period. There was no videos from the audience. Thank you.
Thank you, and I would say that's correct. Anyone else wishing to come forward? Good evening, Mr. Phillips.
Good evening, Gerald Phillips, Avon Lake. I happen to have a meeting with my co-counsel in connection with the Lorraine water lawsuit, and he tells me that there's a proposal being circulated around about resurrecting Clearwater. And I'd like to know if any documents have been received by anybody on council, because according to him, there's a proposal out there. So, if there is such one, I'm making a public records request that I want it. And any emails that deals with any proposal. When we talk-
So noted for the record,
Yeah.
Mr. Phillips.
As far as Clearwater, okay, Larco got charged $1.7 million for water waste treatment. They paid nothing in 2024. They owe $19 million for the pump station at Eaton. And we're worrying about income tax. I mean, we're fortunate that our water department is very fiscally responsible. But yet, that's $13 million that could be collected on the sewer fund, and there's another $3.5 million for the water fund. I'm sure the Avon Lake Regional Water can do a lot with that cash. And there's no way I'm gonna let that get forgiven. I'm a ratepayer, I have to pay, nobody lets me have a free sewer bill. And what's ironic is, Larco customers pay Larco, they get the cash, and they don't remit it for the same services. That's ludicrous. That's totally ludicrous. And yet we got 5 people on that board, okay, including my neighbor who voted for it. I mean, I think they need their head examined to let that go on. I happened to see a handout by Mr. Shamir about Clearwater and the net present value. I suggest everybody review that, because we're giving away $100 million in assets for nothing. We're leasing it for $2 a year. That's ludicrous. The county's not doing nothing. They're not contributing $1. They're not contributing any assets. Larco isn't contributing any money. All they're doing is having a debt. So why would we even think about doing a joint venture with them? And then Avon Lake Regional Water is going to have to fund the cash flow for the first year, which means for the operating, Avon Lake Regional Water is going to put in more money. More money. So when it comes, I sure hope everybody on council clearly votes no, and we were only going to get a minority vote. Now, there's rumors out there floating that there's a 3-member panel, 2 for Avon Lake, 1 for the county. But we went to Lorco, and Lorco said no way that they're going to go for that unless they have 1 representation. So I want to comment on Mr. Zimmerman's situation with his significant other. I've seen that video too. It is appalling, it's shocking, and unconscionable how that police officer interrogated and humiliated his significant other. The prosecutor, the 2 prosecutors who saw that tape said it was outrageous, okay? Outrageous. And according to the former police chief, that was fine. No training, no nothing, okay? Now, it seems like because of that, well, we got another situation with the abuse of a woman, you know? And we were supposed to have an advocate. Marcy's Law passed a long time ago. It took you guys a long time to get an advocate. And the police chief should have got one a long time ago too. So you guys dropped the ball. I hope you improve your record, and I like to see the police get a training on how to handle Marcy's Law.
Anyone else wishing to come forward? Seeing none, we're going to go on to the next portion of the meeting. That's the Finance Committee meeting that's scheduled, which I chair. I see that Jennifer Fennerbosh, as long as Kayla Goodwin are here. I'm calling the meeting to order. Any changes or corrections to the minutes of January 5th, 2026? Mrs. Goodwin? Mrs. Fennerbosh? Anyone from council? Seeing none, the minutes will be approved as submitted. First on the agenda is the emergency salt purchase. As council is aware, at our last meeting, the city brought forth that there was a need for us to buy salt in conjunction with our contract with the provider, where the provider has been unsuccessful in obtaining the salt for us, and that we would be putting an emergency measure to purchase salt immediately at the special meeting that we have set up here this evening, which is resolution number 26-10. I know that we've gone over this as a council before. Are there any updates to know about, Mr. Liskovic?
I guess the real update is trucking's still a struggle, but we do have on hand 40 additional tons that we didn't have at the last meeting. So, but it's a nationwide struggle. Talking to multiple vendors, multiple communities.
Well, I'm sure, because parts of the country don't even need salt, where it's snowing in Tampa, for example. Anybody have any questions on that? If there aren't any additional questions, we'll move on to the next item, which is the resolution to cease the collection of the 1.5 million property tax upon passage of the additional 4% income tax increase, which was passed last week and will be appearing on the ballot with 65% as set forth in the ordinance that we have toward roads and 35% toward capital purchases. Ms. Crossy, is there anything you wish to add relative to the proposed ordinance, which I believe is attached in the packet?
The only thing I would add is that this does become part of our Chapter 886, and so it does become part of the codifieds, and so there was concern among the residents about this portion.
All right, thank you. Anyone from the committee have any questions? Yes, Mrs. Fenderbush.
Thank you. I don't have questions, but I think that there's some clarity that needs to happen with the community. And we don't legislate for social media, but social media really is a good way to see what the thoughts are with our community. And I know that my phone's been ringing off the hook all day today since this has been in the news. And some of the things that I think are important for the public to know, there was a question about TIFs and all the TIFs that we have. City of Avon Lake only has one TIF, and that TIF has to do with the Route 83 and Walker Road area. It doesn't have anything to do with any developments. It has to do actually with the road and the control lights and pedestrian crossings. That's one thing that I think that we needed to get out there. Something else that I think that needs to get out there is that the city has done a tremendous amount of work to reduce our costs. And I chair public service, and I thank Mr. Liskovic for his leadership. Not only has overtime in all the different departments been cut back, and it's kind of hard in public service, you know, when there's snow and you have to have snow trucks out, but they've all worked with that. They've worked with reducing all of their extra work, and I think maybe between Mr. Liskovic and Mrs. Crossy, that you could list some of the things that have been done, because the public needs to know that this didn't just occur. It didn't just surprise us. When I was the sewer chair many years ago, Mr. Wright said, hey, if I had $80 million, I could fix all the streets and I could fix, you know, the other infrastructure. So this has been going on for a long time. And as my colleague, Ms. Gentry, stated 2 weeks ago, the cost of concrete and the cost of asphalt has gone up over 300% during the time that our existing 1.5% income tax that goes toward infrastructure has been in existence. So costs keep going up, and we're looking for the revenue to come in. I just think it's very important for people to know this, because there is some confusion out there, and all of us up here, every one of us, including department heads, are open to the public for any questions that might come up. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you.
President.
Yes, Mrs. Goodwin.
Thank you. I did just have a couple comments off of something that things that Jennifer mentioned too. And I think one thing that is really important is that I know that everyone up here is aware that education of this issue is vital, and that educating every demographic is going to be even more important. I think that certainly my peers are going to need to fully understand what this looks like for them. And I think that there's a lot. Rob has done an excellent job too, working with the communications company to provide facts and details. But I think really targeting as many individual small groups about this, because I agree that this is a very much needed position that we're in. But I think it needs to be a bridge to long-term stability. This as a comment that Jennifer made a few weeks ago, that we're kind of pressing the reset button on how we approach these things moving forward. And I think that really needs to be a baseline for a lot of the messaging, at least when you're, speaking from the heart. I think that that's going to be a really important piece, because especially for younger families, it needs to be clear that we're making an investment in the community by approving this. And I think that the clarity on the investment, there can be no questions on that. And that is not to say you have not provided that already. I think that the information that has been put forth has been quality, and but I just think that tackling it through many different avenues is going to be really important.
Thank you. Yeah, of course, it's important to educate everybody that's going to be affected by this and the importance of it for our roads. Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, I thank you for those comments. I appreciate that, and I think you hit the nail on the head. And we have numerous meetings set up with groups already, but we are looking for your demographic and how we can get in front of them, whether it's PTA groups or whatever. We are open to meet anybody, anytime. I've got, I think, 5 individual meetings set up with individuals already, in addition to all of our other ones, and have had text conversations and emails. But the more groups we can get in, as you indicated, a wide demographic, the better. So I would encourage the public to contact us if they have a group that would like to receive the factual information. We're hoping to do that. And on top of that, on March 11th, at the library, we're having an open city forum where anybody could come. I think we're gonna fill that room. Hope the fire department's not gonna be checking, but I think we're gonna fill that room up. And we'll be able to answer hopefully all the questions they have, and if we don't, we'll get the answers to them. But we want to address as many people in the community with the factual information as we can, so thank you.
Thank you. Anyone outside the committee? Yes, Mr.
What
Collins.
time, excuse me, I'm sorry, go back to Mr. Mayor. What time is your?
7
meeting?
o'clock on March 11th at the library.
Thank you.
Mr. Cos.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. A couple of questions. Ms. Crossy, could you just state again that if the income tax were to pass, can you just kind of go through this list again about who would not be affected? We had mentioned Social Security. Could you just go over all of that again on who would not be affected by an income tax increase, or what it would not affect? You said Social Security benefits, and what else?
Sure. So income tax is not paid by, on Social Security benefits for retirees, and also, I'm sorry.
Annuities.
And annuities, yes, those types of retirement income.
I would think that probably disability benefits probably fall into that as well, too.
Yes.
So disability benefits would fall into that as well, too. Okay, so what is the authority on that? What says if a municipality passes an income tax increase, it can't touch those things? What's the authority on that? Is that statutory?
That is by the state.
Okay.
And some changes can be made by cities in certain areas, but not on taxable income.
But not on taxable income?
Correct.
Okay, so I got a few here, Amy. I see you trying to jump me. I got a few. So let me just continue down this line. So it's statutory that says the state is the authority and says that an income tax increase cannot touch Social Security, pensions, disability, and such. And that's been in place on the current one that we have. That's that way now.
So,
We're
right,
not
at
taxing
least
that now.
33 years. I
Yeah,
would have
okay.
to look back to
Okay.
see the legislation.
Okay. And
by
so
the state.
3 or 4 years ago, when we put the previous income tax request up with the fire station being kind of the centerpiece of that, that was in place then as well too. That
That's
we were
correct.
not going to be able to touch Social Security, pensions, disability, all of those things. That was in place then too. Okay. So it's by the state that mandates that, so the city just can't willy-nilly, if this were to pass, say, oh, we lied to you, we're actually gonna tax your Social Security. We
Right.
can't do that.
Correct.
Okay. Another question that I have. When a development goes in, a new development, I don't know, maybe I'll kick this one to Mr. Mayor or the law director. When a new development is built, the woods are cleared out, the space is cleared out, streets go in, sidewalks go in, pipes go in, houses go up. Who pays the cost of that infrastructure going in when all these developments are approved and built?
The developer pays for all those infrastructure costs.
They pay for all of that.
Yep, and then
That's
it's
not,
turned-
the city doesn't pay to pour those streets or put those pipes in, that's all on the developer.
It's all on the developer, that's
Okay,
correct.
so, the city doesn't bear any of those costs, the developer pays all of those costs. Is it legal, right, standard that they would continue to pay the cost of all of those street repairs, sidewalk repairs, et cetera, in perpetuity?
Turned over to the city.
If I could, no, that's turned over to the city at that point in time.
Okay.
After the developer puts them in, they do all the things that need to be done with the streets, the sewers, sanitary sewers, et cetera. It's turned over to the city.
Okay, so the city can't say at that point,
We'll call on him.
yeah, the city can't say at that point, okay, whether it's Cough or Gamelia, any of the, and not private streets, I'm talking about public.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. If
Yeah,
you're talking
and public,
HOAs, it's
yeah,
different.
yeah,
You know,
I'm talking
that's
about,
different.
I'm talking about
Yeah.
private streets,
Right.
or public streets, which is what we're asking money to fix,
Right.
public streets, not private streets.
correct.
So we can't say to those developers, hey, if you put this development in, for the existence of those streets, 100-plus years, you fix every single one of them going forward.
No, cannot.
Okay. And then the final thing that I have is, I would say, Mr. Mayor, I congratulate you on wanting to do public events. I think really being face-to-face with residents is really the best way to go when you reach a certain age demographic. Maybe not, Mrs. Goodwin has a good point with, with her demographic that maybe won't attend those, but I know there's a lot of people that want to be at a public meeting. And if I could just give one bit of advice at those public meetings, and I know that you'll do this, but I just want to say it publicly. I know you'll put facts out or an explanation and all of that, but allow a lot of time for people to ask questions and a lot of back and forth and have that dialogue with them as well too. Not just telling them, but listening as well too, so.
Yep,
you.
definitely encouraging questions,
Great,
no doubt.
thank you.
Ms. Gentry?
So going back to the income tax discussion, capital gains on like a 401K, would that be considered income taxable?
So withdrawals from IRAs and 401Ks are taxable, yes.
So we need to be careful when we say that the folks who are retired won't be impacted by the income tax. They will be income taxed, they will be taxed on their withdrawals from their retirement accounts. It's just Social Security, annuities.
And pensions.
And
That's what I
pensions,
left
okay.
out, pensions, yes. And we do have that in our materials, and we've been trying to say that.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I got the
And-
question
Yes,
yesterday, so.
and the reason for that 401K and the IRA piece is because that is pre-tax
Mm-hmm.
when folks are setting those savings aside, except for Roths.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Mrs. Fenderbosh?
Thank you. I think something else needs to be mentioned with the state and what the state controls and also the federal government. And that is whenever something goes to the ballot, we can't have multiple topics on a ballot. Every ballot has to have one topic. And some people think that the language that's going to be on the ballot is going to show not only the 0.40% increase in income tax, but they believe on the ballot is also going to show the 1.5% property tax that we're going to be stopping if it should, when it passes. And we cannot do that. We're prohibited from doing it. But what we are going to be doing, and which is coming up in our process, is we are going to be passing a city ordinance that says that we're going to give back that 1.5 property tax. And what's important is that affects everybody, whether you're retired and you're on pension annuity or you are employed, your property tax will go back down by the 1.5%. What is important is the timing of it. So the county, again, not the city, but the county tells us that in October we have to let them know what is going to be collected for taxes and how is it going to be used. And so if in May this 0.4% is passed, then come around to October, we can tell them, yeah, January 1st of 2027, we're going to stop collecting the 1.5. But if it doesn't pass in May and we have to go to November and let's say it should pass, it's going to have to wait a whole year now around till October of 27 before the county will take that information and apply it towards 2028. So if you want to save more money and not spend more property tax, the idea is to pass it in May so it can come off the books January of 2027 and not wait a whole year. Thank you.
Mr. Shamir?
I guess the question that I've got is a follow-up to the frequently asked questions that came up on the city's website. And I just needed a point of clarification on the 0.4% increase in the allocation of the 65% when it states that road improvements and associated debt. So when you go through that, is there a definition of what exactly is included in the associated debt? And I'm just going to follow that up with, and what is the projected 2027 through 2032 debt service paid from that category, year by year, broken out into principal, interest, issuing cost, and separated into existing road debt versus new road debt? So do we have that in our model? Is that been clearly defined?
Yes, in the model that was shared with council, that is new debt associated with what projects will be undergoing, okay? So, and it does include the water bundle project that's going on at this time. There's an estimated piece for that because that is an ongoing project, so.
Okay. Can we then allocate that information for transparency's sake onto the website as an understanding of what it is that people are actually paying for? What portion is roads, what portion is debt, and how that debt is allocated? And going back, I would look at putting in the principal, the interest, and issuing costs of that debt so that everyone is clear what is being allocated for roads, what is going to be debt-related, and what is the cost of that debt.
Okay,
Thank you.
sure.
Yeah, and Mr. Rue is here today, so obviously you guys, it sounds like, based on his yeses to your questions, that it's something that can certainly be done. All right, we're talking about resolution to cease the collection of the 1.5 mil property tax. Anything further from anyone? All right. When are we thinking that we're gonna wanna put the first reading of this resolution on, Ms. Crossy?
So, Mr. Liskovic is checking into a time frame for a portion of this. If council remembers, from the budget discussions, we had talked about doing this for the electric Boulevard Bridge and the. Oh, I'm sorry, I jumped ahead. Yeah, I did.
No, when are we gonna wanna put the resolution on the agenda for first reading for the 1.5 mil property tax removal? Item 2, when are we talking about putting that
Right.
on the agenda? When do you wanna see that on the, when?
Yes, I would say the next meeting.
Okay,
Then to be held
Yes.
until after the vote, correct?
Correct.
okay. Yes, Mr. Cos.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. If I may add one last thing on this, and I'm not a member of the committee, sir, but if we look at.
see anyone from the committee's hands.
Yeah.
That's why I called on.
Thank you. Section 1, down at the bottom of the page. After the first sentence, which is underlined, it states, this council hereby declares its intent to cease collection of an existing 1.5. I would make the recommendation that that be strengthened a little bit to say something along the lines of this council hereby declares it shall cease. It takes out any wiggle room or anything along that line that may give a resident a bit of a worry that we could change our minds. So a shall is pretty
Thank you.
solid.
I agree with that analysis. And then if the committee will move to move the resolution, and let me use the number for it.
If I could.
I'll get you 1 second.
Okay, thank you.
Move the resolution forward to the, for first reading at the February 9th meeting.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, we'll check with our council who created the ordinance just to make sure that this isn't standard language that is required. And, if it's not, then obviously we will make changes as appropriate. We just need to check with our council who wrote this first.
Very good, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, that'll be on the agenda for the 9th of February. Next, we have the before I get to the 2025 closeout, you saw in your packets the RETA analysis. Ms. Crossy, any comments on that? The only thing I would say is there was a refund that was due, which is what caused the $11,000 negative for the second payment in January, in case anyone was wondering what that was. Ms. Crossy, anything other than, and we're, 3.6% behind?
Correct.
Collections from last
Yes.
year at this
Yes.
point?
That's correct.
Anybody have anything on that from the committee? All right, seeing no other hands. The end of the 2025 budget closeout. Mrs. Crossy.
Thank you. So the first report that is typically provided to council monthly is the financial fund report. And that is on page 1. It begins with general fund at the top. And this, again, is for year end of 2025, and it shows the beginning fund balance and, of course, year-to-date receipts, year-to-date disbursements, and then any outstanding encumbrances. So the one thing I would like to point out about general fund is we had begun the year with 1.7 million, and we ended at 2.9 million. So that was actually an unexpected increase of about close to $1.5 to $2 million. And I will explain that further as we go through the general fund end-of-year analysis. But that was primarily based on payroll positions that had been budgeted but not filled during 2025 that council is aware of again. And we'll go through those specifics when we get to that fund. The other thing I would like to point out is the income tax transfer fund, which is Fund 204. It's the fourth fund down. And again, we began the year with 1.4 million in that fund. And this is the fund that the income tax is recorded to. And from that income tax transfer fund, it is transferred to general fund, the debt fund, and recreation. And historically, there have been transfers to the capital fund 207. But if council remembers, in 2025, 668,000 was allocated there to that fund. But in 2025, the income tax transfer fund, you see that increase of about $500,000. If you remember, there was a slight increase in income taxes in 2025. So we did not transfer that additional monies that came in, so it is still in the transfer fund and could be used for capital needs in 2026 that have not yet been budgeted. So, of course, we would be talking roads or other needs. So that can be discussed with council. And then I would like to draw your attention to Fund 207, which is the Income Tax Capital Improvement Fund. And again, typically that fund, there are transfers done from income tax into this fund. And for 2026, we do not have any transfer coming into this fund based on what the budget looked like as we developed the 2026 budget. But you will see that we have an ending unencumbered balance of almost $3.6 million there. And a great part of that balance is due to projects that were not completed in 2025 that have been budgeted in 2026. So that is a remaining fund balance that much of that has been budgeted. And that is what I have on that particular report. If anyone has any other questions. It does give you a broad picture of all the funds that the city manages. One other fund I would like to point out, and this is for the public as well, Fund 603, which is down near the bottom of page 1. That is the Recreation Trust Fund. And at the end of 2025, it has an unencumbered balance of $450,000. And I would like to point out to the public and just remind council that that is where the payment for the community center, the former grade school, that is where those funds are coming from. That is a specially designated fund that can only be used for recreation purposes.
All right, continue, please.
I'm sorry.
No question, so continue.
Yeah, go ahead, continue.
That's all for that report, if we
Right.
want to move on. Okay, and then a couple pages further, the Avon Lake revenue and expense summary budget, page 1. So again, this walks through each fund, and it summarizes the 2025 budget versus actual, the year-to-date transactions, and then it also has 2024 totals in the last column. And this is by fund, and it's, of course, a summary. And I did, again, want to point out, general fund, the revenues were over budget by about $224,000, and that was mainly because of some refunds that came in unexpectedly. And then again, the expense was under budget by about $2.3 million, and most of that was due to payroll. And we will take a look at that in the general fund detail budget that I submitted to council. And so that's all I have on that report. It is each fund. It does show you the revenues, again, the revenues and the expense summary. And if council would like any detail on any of these funds, I'm happy to provide that. So this page, or this report, is 13 pages. So if you turn just past page 13 on the reverse side, is the Avon Lake expense budget for general fund only, and it is broken down by department. So if we're on page 1, I did highlight the salary and benefits numbers and the amounts. If you look at the third to the last column, that does show how much the budget was over or under, and in this case, it was under due to the lag in hiring of 2 police officers and some health insurance changes that involved single coverage versus family, which makes large dollar differences. So for the police department, you can see that that was under budget by about, their entire budget was under budget by about $380,000, but the bulk of that was, again, payroll. And then we jumped down to the engineering department, which is the third department. And you can see again, the payroll number came in low by $309,000. And that was due to the postponement, well, not the postponement, but the non-hiring of the engineering position. And then Public Works, I would like to point out the Public Works budget, salary and wages and benefits were under by almost, $570,000. And there were a number of positions that were unfilled in '25. And again, these were all positions that were budgeted and intended for hiring, but due to lags in the hiring process, the city did save in those salaries for 2025. And again, those numbers, that 570,000 included positions that were eventually hired, the assistant supervisor and a laborer. And there was a forester position that was not hired in that, and of course, that's all with accompanying benefits as well. Now, a number of those positions have been hired and built into the 2026 budget, which council did see. And the other thing I would like to point out about Public Works is the operating expenses came in under budget by about $381,000. And the Director Liskovac, during the process for the 2026 budget, took a very detailed look at all his expense lines and was able to bring that budget down much further for 2026. But during 2025, we did see some savings there because there were unspent funds. Now, so that council understands, these unspent funds go back into the fund, and they are available for additional budget purposes as needed. So again, we can be looking at different options, perhaps engineering on some roads that we were unable to budget during 2026. And also, we had talked about possibly going self-funded for health insurance reasons, and we would need a bit of a reserve for that. So part of this could go towards that. There are a number of options that we can discuss with council.
Thank you. And
yes.
we will be looking for the recommendation from the administration on,
Yes,
on those
of course.
items.
Thank you.
Sooner the better, please.
Yes. Okay.
Anyone on the committee?
I'm sorry.
Is there something else you were gonna add? I thought you were done.
I am done. Thank you.
Okay.
I just wanted to be sure I didn't miss anything on the
All right.
last pages.
All right. See anyone from other council members? All right. I don't see any questions. We'll move on to item number 4, the bond issuance for Electric Boulevard Bridge and Walker Road Phase 6. Ms. Crossy?
Thank you. This is the one I jumped to before. So if council remembers, during budget, we did discuss the need to issue a bond for the portion of the water bundle project that was not covered by the OWDA. And that is the bridge and a portion of the pavement. And that's about $900,000. And then there is also a portion of Walker Road Phase 6. Portion of that has been covered by OPWC funds, but there is another close to $500,000 that the city would need to issue a bond for that portion.
So
And we look at.
what are you looking for council to do in that regard?
So we just wanted to bring that up now, and depending on the timing that Director Liskovic provides to us, particularly for Walker Road Phase 6, I think, we need some clarification. So we're looking at possibly bringing that to council maybe around May, April or
Well,
May.
all I would say about that is if we know that this is coming down the road and we can get the information ahead of time so we're not having to pass emergency ordinances and the like,
Correct.
I would really appreciate it.
Sure.
Anything further from the committee? Anyone else on council? All right, our last item. Disposal of assets under 5,000.
Yes, so a question came up from one of the departments, Director Liskovic, I believe, had questioned about disposal of municipal property. And so we have come up with a policy that would be in place, and what we're proposing is the marker of $5,000. So less than $5,000 per item. The department would submit a list to the mayor for review, and then disposal process would also be provided at that time, whether this piece of equipment or piece of property would be sold or disposed of, depending on the disposition of that property. For items with a fair market value of $5,000 or more, again, the department would submit a list to the mayor, but then it would also go before council due to the dollar amount. And again, the disposal process would be clearly marked on that information or list that is provided to council.
Right, so this is for items under $5,000, and they would notify council once that process has taken place?
That's correct.
All right. Any questions from the committee? Yes, Mrs. Fenderbosh.
Ross Marin, this is Ross Marin. I'm gonna go back to number 1, the emergency road salt purchase. Do we need a motion to move that over to council?
I thought we did that.
Last week we discussed it, but I don't see it in the minutes that we actually did it.
I thought we did it tonight.
No, we did not. We only passed one motion, and that was number 2, because I write them down as you do them.
And I also called for the special meeting to consider that.
Right, but I think we need to vote on it, don't we? Have a motion, we have to move it.
I mean, if you'd like to, I think it's kind of superfluous, but I'm happy to do that. I'll make a motion to move resolution number 2610 to the special meeting tonight.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Thank you,
okay.
sir.
The disposal of items under 5,000, anything further on that? All right. Any other items to be added at this point? Seeing none at this point, the Finance Committee would entertain comments from the public. You have up to 3 minutes if there's something that you'd like to discuss relative to the business that we just discussed. Hello again, Mr. Phillips. Come on forward.
Good evening.
Good evening again.
I want to follow up on Mr. Koss's comment when he was asking about developers, that they put in the water, the sewer, the roads at their cost, and then the city gets it deeded, okay? Well, ALERG, they should put in the improvements, the sewers, the water, and that, just like any other developer. We shouldn't give them a subsidy, but instead, we're gonna do a TIF, and we're gonna take $30 million from the school district to do a corporate subsidy for a private for-profit company. When you talk about improvements, subdividers come in and they put their subdivision in, and usually there's financial guarantees and there's a performance bond. I know Avon has performance bonds for any of the improvements, and they have a performance bond for the various improvements before they accept them, and they accept the plat and dedication. And that's a guarantee that for a certain period of time, if there's a defect, then that performance bond, there will be a surety, and that'll take care of it. So you can't do it in perpetuity, but you can do performance bonds to make and protect that the developer work is not shoddy. Now, I don't know if Avon Lake's doing it because I haven't looked at it, but if they're not, then that's a grave mistake on their part. There's another way you can pay for streets and roads. We go back to the infamous Krebs Road, where under 727 ORC, you can assess the property owners. And that's a mechanism that can be done where an improvement to the street only benefits the people on that street. As far as taxable wages, 401k distributions are not taxable. When you have a 401k and you elect to defer it and you reduce your wages, if you look at any W-2, say you reduce your wages by $23,000, the federal taxable income will be 23 less, but the city will be the amount without the 23 deduction. So your wages for city tax purposes includes wages before the 401k deduction. I'm a CPA. I've done it many times. IRAs are not taxable. Chapter 718 is a section
Mr.
for
Phillips,
city
if I
income
may,
tax.
I think we were talking about when you take the money out of the 401k
Oh, it's
in
not taxable.
retirement. When you take it out of, when
It's
you
not
take,
taxable.
but when you put it in, it's not taxable.
No.
When you're indicating that when you take it out,
No.
it's not taxable
No,
as well.
when you put it in, you're gonna pay tax on that contribution because your wages are not reduced for city income tax purposes. They're not.
Okay,
You know, you put a 23,000 401k, your wages for box 8 will be less for federal and state, but not for city.
all right. Thank you. You had one more point you were gonna make? I mean,
Yeah,
10 seconds.
The allocations for this new income tax, it doesn't change the 69% to the general, doesn't change the 16% to capital, 12 to debt, and 3 to recreational. So there's gonna be extra funds to the capital besides the allocation of that 4/10.
Okay,
So,
thank you. Anyone? Yes, Mayor.
Yeah, I just want to clarify a couple of points. We do have performance bonds that developers have to abide by. And also, he made a comment about the schools losing out on $30 million. That is not the case. There will be no TIF without the school approval, so they will have to decide whether they want to accept the TIF and to what amount. So just want to clarify that.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to come forward? Welcome back, Mr. Zimmerman.
Thank you for having me. William Zimmerman, beautiful Avon Lake. So one of my questions is we're putting in sidewalks up on Lake Road.
Yeah, we didn't really discuss that.
That doesn't say, it says any finance issue.
No, I indicated when I did that we would be discussing what's on the finance agenda.
I never heard that. Sorry.
That's all right.
I might have been out in the hallway when you said it.
Yeah. If there's I'll give you a quick second if you want to talk about it, but we got to get back to.
Well, my point is I'm trying to understand where the funding's coming from for the sidewalks on
Okay.
Lake Road. Is it state, is it federal?
All right.
That was my question.
Okay.
Okay?
Continue.
Thank you. So, my other question has to deal with the bridge. Is this the bridge just outside the city hall down here?
Yes.
Okay. Because I know that it's been in disrepair for a long time.
Not the one right behind you, the one.
No, I understand.
Boulevard, yeah.
Not the walking bridge,
No.
but the other.
Yeah.
Because I know it's been grading in a D or somewhere down towards the bottom of the pile. And they were talking about having to do some infrastructure work before they could do the road work.
Mm-hmm.
Is that correct as well?
I believe that's the case.
So do we have a budget yet for this? Has it been put out to bid? Do we have any idea how much this is really gonna cost?
Yeah, we have a budget for it. Go ahead, Ms. Crossy.
Yes, that's part of the water bundle project.
Okay,
Yes, that's all been, that was an ordinance before council last year.
right, I
It's
thought
actually
this,
in process.
we
Yes.
lost some funding because we didn't move forward in the project and stuff like that.
No, it was just a portion of it that was not covered by OWDA.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Oh, you're not
No, I'm not.
Okay, I thought
I
you
know.
were.
I would always use my full time if I could. Except the other week when I told you ahead of time I was only going to use half.
Yes, you did only use half. He had 59 seconds.
That's
left.
close enough. I'm not worried about it. Thank you. So my next question then starts to become, we want to trade off the 1.5 for the 0.4 increase. And I personally haven't heard other cities and places that have had to do some kind of leveraging so that they can get the one pass so that they could then remove the other. And I think it's very misleading to the public because all we're doing is taking from Peter to pay Paul. And in my eyes, I don't think that that's the way we should have to be doing business. The city had all kinds of money before this administration came in, and it's gone. And for whatever reason, we have to get a tax increase for the first time in over 30 years. I find that appalling.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Ms. Crossy, go ahead.
Well, I would actually like to respond back and thank, actually, Mr. Phillips was correct about the 401K and IRA. That is not taxable as withdrawals because they are taxed at the time that they're making those for city reasons. It's different than federal and state, so I misspoke, so thank you.
All right, what about the use of the reduction?
Oh, yes, and also the statement about the rescinding of property tax and increasing income tax. Actually, Avon just successfully passed their increase in 2025 that way. And also it was done, I think it was in South Canton. So there are a number of communities that are doing that.
All right, thank you. Seeing nothing further on the Finance Committee, I will close that.
Sir,
Oh, yes, Ms. Gentry.
I just wanted to clarify, because I think there's been a couple times people have misspoke. It's 1.5 mil, but both of those were 0.4%. Is that correct? Both the property tax reduction and the income tax increase were 0.4%? Is that not correct? No.
The 0.4% increase applies to income tax.
Yeah.
Okay, the 1.5 mil property tax would be rescinded.
Right, so I think that somebody had misspoke and said that it was a 1.5% for the property tax, is why I was trying to clarify. I just wanted to clarify.
Okay, thank you.
It might have been me, I don't know. All right, anything further?
I have a quick question, sir.
Sure.
When are we going to be putting the disposal of assets under $5,000 on the council agenda to vote?
That, my understanding is that that's an administrative function, it's not gonna be showing up for us.
Wonderful, thank you.
Yep, thank you. All right, I'll move to adjourn the Finance Committee meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Finance Committee meeting's hereby closed. I'll turn it over to Mr. Reynolds for the HR Committee meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. The Human Resources Committee meeting is called to order at 8:04 p.m. We have a quorum with myself, Mr. Koss, and Mr. Smith. The first order of business is the approval of the minutes from January 5th, have been distributed. Are there any corrections to the minutes? All right, seeing as there are none, the minutes are approved as prepared and published. Next on our agenda is the reports, and the first report is from the Human Resources Director, Ms. Kernia.
Thank you very much. Just want to briefly update on some staffing incentives that we have going on. At the top of the list is our city engineer that we have refocused on. We have submitted ads to a variety of places: LinkedIn, Cleveland.com, Fox 8 Job Board, Ohio Means Jobs, also the Ohio Municipal League, the Ohio Society of Professional Engineers, the Cleveland Engineering Society, and then have also made inquiries with Municipal Engineers Association of Northeast Ohio and County Engineers Association of Ohio, so we can get our ads posted on their job boards as well, along with our own Avon Lake webpage, social media, and scrolling sign out front. So we are pushing hard to get that job posted. We have received 6 applications so far and are hoping for many more. We're also working with 2 third-party recruiters to hopefully get some good candidates in that way too. So we're all hands on deck with that job posting in many places. We're also continuing interviews for our one open labor position. We actually have interviews tomorrow afternoon, and hopefully we'll find a good candidate through that. And we do have a new patrol officer who, once approved by civil service, should be sworn in within the next week or so. The civil service meeting is Wednesday, and hopefully they will approve that officer at that time. Looking forward, we hope to find an engineering tech 1. We're in the process with civil service and have been for quite some time in reviewing and creating questions for interviewing so that our questions are consistent with all candidates for that role as well. And that's it for staffing updates. As has been mentioned for a while now, the city has proudly been taking several months, actually almost a year now it seems, to spend a lot of time creating vision, mission, and value statements for the city. We wanted to involve all employees in this process of creating these statements. We felt that creation of statements was important for us so that we had a guiding set of values and statements that we could lean on. If there are any questions as to why we are doing things, we can look back at our vision, mission statements, and those are statements that will help support our vision, mission, and values for the city. So Rob Rua has been an integral person carrying pretty much the bulk of this entire process, and he is here tonight to do a presentation on our mission, vision, and value statements project in the last year.
Mr. Chairman? I would make a motion that we move the hiring and swearing in of a patrol officer to the council meeting of February 9th.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. I'm sorry, Mr. Rua, to interrupt. I know you were all ready to roll there, so.
Thank you, Lynn. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about the process that we went through to arrive at mission, vision, and value statements for the city of Avon Lake. I have personally past experience developing mission, vision, and value statements in my previous employer and engaging staff at all levels in that process. Beginning last spring, the leadership team here in the city engaged with an external vendor who provided some training, and part of that was the beginnings of developing mission, vision, and value statements for the city of Avon Lake. So the leadership team, I believe, began that process it was a little bit before I came on board, I think maybe February. And then by the time I came in March, they had some conversations to get that ball rolling. But we knew that in order for it to be an effective process, we would need to engage staff as much as possible. So Between July 10th and the 28th of last year, we held 8 sessions with various departments throughout the city. There were 3 with the fire department, reason being they have the different shifts, and so we had to do several sessions so we could give everyone an opportunity to participate. Same thing with the police department, although we only did 2 sessions to reach everyone in the police departments. And then we had a large session at the public library with the public works and engineering staff. Was a large turnout for that. And then we had sessions with City Hall and the building department staff separately. Approximately 120 city staff members participated in these sessions over the course of those couple of weeks in July. There was very strong overall engagement. I led the sessions with Lynn. The goal was to get a conversation going, to present mission and vision value statements out in the wild in other cities and even in some for-profit organizations, to get their wheels spinning about what it could look like, and to gain a better understanding of what staff thought our mission should be and what was important for us to do in our work day to day here in the city. So the session structures, we introduced the concepts. We don't want to take for granted that everyone knew what mission, vision, and value statements were for, what their purpose was. So we introduced those concepts initially, reviewed real-world examples, reviewed some draft statements. These were draft statements that the leadership team had crafted during the training sessions that were done in the spring. And then the majority of the sessions were activities and discussions around each of the different statements. We did have a great turnout. As I mentioned, 120 staff members participated across the 8 sessions, but as is the case often with that type of in-person session, there were a handful of folks that couldn't participate. So we did also have a survey that was open with the same type of content from September 30th to October 22nd. That was shared internally by email, and we had some posters with QR codes for some of the staff members that don't get to access email very often, particularly in the Public Works Department. So we had 25 additional respondents from that survey. The survey itself had 11 questions, and we received 170 comments. I really like the 170 comments because really, these are folks that missed out on the in-person sessions where there was a lot of dialogue and discussion happening. So they took the opportunity to share their thoughts via the comments in the survey. So from these sessions, there were some areas of strong consensus that arose. One is that the lakefront is key. The importance of acquiring lakefront property for development was a prevalent theme in all the sessions. These are things that people brought up on their own accord. Though opinions varied slightly on what the city should do if the land were acquired. Increased public access to the lakefront was identified as very important to the future of Avon Lake, and staff overwhelmingly want the city to be known as a vibrant lakefront city. The other area of very strong consensus was, I'm calling it small town vibes. The word small town came up in every session multiple times. Participants in every session articulated a desire to maintain the city's small town feel, though I did push back on that in every session because the term small town, push back to get folks to think about what that means and try to define that term. And when asked to define it, the key features that were most often identified were safety, family-friendly atmosphere, connectivity, engaged citizenry, low traffic, and a balanced mix of small to mid-sized businesses. And those themes were present in the 25 survey responses as well. Another key theme was striking the right balance. Many session participants, they talked about the need to balance our growth mentality, economic development, to increase revenue with the desire to maintain those small town values. And again, that manifested as low traffic, safe environment, engaged citizens, etc. Another area of consensus, and this one can't emphasize enough, heard from every department, service orientation. Participants in all sessions articulated a desire for a work culture in which staff members' mindset and approach focused on strong communication, collaboration between departments, accountability, and understanding and meeting the needs of others, whether they're residents or colleagues. Quality focus was a prevalent theme as well, maintaining high standards for the quality of services, from safety services to our infrastructure to our city facilities, was cited in these sessions, as well as having high standards for residential property maintenance. Last, we went into the sessions with the idea that the city could have a purpose statement and a mission statement. Now, some organizations have purpose statements, but the general consensus was, after kind of looking at some real world examples of what those look like, they're very similar. And so a strong consensus was that really a mission purpose are close enough concepts that they can just be combined. And so that's the, as you'll see later, that's the area or the direction that we went in. Areas of divergence, fiscal responsibility, the term fiscal responsibility, including that in a purpose or mission statement. And the reason that it was an area of divergence was that a lot of folks felt that it was, it should just be a given. We shouldn't have to state it. It should just be something that everyone has already internalized. And that came up a number of times in the sessions. Some individuals expressed a desire to attract larger businesses. So going back to the small town vibes theme, there were some individuals that felt we just need to grow and that we should be attracting larger businesses. They didn't share that same opinion about the small town feel. And then lakefront destination was another, and this is just a little subtle kind of divergence where some expressed the opinion that the city should try to position itself as a like a tourist destination. And of course, that conversation was always tied to the idea that we would acquire lakefront property. Not just families. So while a lot of folks in a lot of the sessions talked about family-friendly environment, family values, being a family-friendly place, great place to raise kids, there were a few that expressed the opinion that using terms like family-friendly could be exclusionary to some residents. So that's a good point, and it was a bit of an area of divergence. For the value statement, what we did was what they call an ideal teammate exercise. We've done this before, previous employer. It's a way of sussing out kind of some of the terms and themes that staff value in their work environment. Sort of, it's getting at work culture. It's a way of getting at work culture. All sessions were asked to identify the qualities of an ideal teammate. This word cloud represents the most common. The larger words are the ones that came up most often. You'll notice trustworthy, teamwork, reliable communication. There's a slew of words here. The themes of collaboration or teamwork, communication, and trust, reliability were very prevalent. So when I then asked what values should guide the city's future, which is a little different than ideal teammate, participants gave slightly different answers. The themes of teamwork and collaboration and trustworthiness and reliability rose up and were consistent, but accountability and fiscal responsibility became more prevalent. So when we started thinking about, here's all these values that we really appreciate in a great teammate, but which of these actually are applicable to the city's future? And so that it changed the weight of some of those terms. So what happened next was we went back to the leadership team with this feedback, and we had some conversation about how do we incorporate this into a mission, vision, and values? Because we've learned a lot from this process, and we've gone a little further down that road from where we began back in the spring of 2025. So with that, we arrived at a mission statement, and our mission, I'll just read it. Our mission is to foster a safe and connected community where families thrive, the small town character of our lakeside community is preserved, and all residents enjoy excellent city services that enhance their quality of life. Okay, so these are incorporating themes from the sessions. The vision statement, of course, is a bit aspirational and forward-looking. The vision statement here is, our vision is to build a legacy as Ohio's premier lakeside city, a place where family values, thoughtful economic development, small town character, and the natural beauty of Lake Erie converge. And then values. So there was a lot of discussion about what value statements should look like, how they should be constructed. We looked at examples that were longer, some that were slogan-y, some that were just a list of adjectives. And what we heard was something memorable that I can apply to my day-to-day work is most effective. So if I can't remember our value statement, how am I going to implement it in my day-to-day work. So the value statements that we came up with are, and these are again from the feedback, committed to collaboration, dedicated to excellence, accountable to Avon Lake. So it's been, as Lynn stated, kind of a longer process, but I feel really, having done this before, really pleased with how much engagement there was. And it was, especially for me as a relatively new employee, a lot of people I'd never seen before, and folks were very comfortable, giving their honest feedback and having a good, solid conversation about each of these different concepts. And I hope that through those sessions, they could also see the value of why organizations, not just Avon Lake, lots of organizations, of course, adopt mission, vision, value statements for a good reason, because they have, a lot of value to them. It's not just an exercise; it's actually something that matters and shapes our culture. And so with that, do we do questions?
Are there any questions or comments from committee members? I'll start, actually, on the committee. Thank you. This was awesome. I know you guys put a lot of work into that. I think this is fantastic. And I guess we can touch on everything that was discussed. I'm happy to hear that you guys are using, you said 2 third-party recruiters?
Correct.
For the engineering position? That's fantastic. How is that going, by the way? Is that, you said you had 6 applications. Did those come from the recruiters, or is that?
No.
No.
3 came from someone who saw our scrolling sign or webpage, and the other 3 came from LinkedIn. So those have been our 2 sources so far. 1 third-party recruiter we just engaged with, so no candidates from them yet. The other found candidates who are qualified according to our job description, but live too far away to be willing to drive to Avon Lake, and this is an in-person, not remote position. So we'll keep them looking.
Fantastic. Any other questions, Mr. Koss?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Mayor, congratulations to your team for putting this together, Mr. Rua and Ms. Lynn. Sorry. Thank you guys for doing this. This is great. One point that I want to make, and then a question. So, with the strong consensus, the number 1 thing that you guys had on there, I thought it was interesting because it coincided with the Avon Lake Comprehensive Plan with the residents, when we surveyed residents. And you have on there the number 1 thing that you have on that list, whether it's number 1 because it's on top or it's just in that top group. Lakefront is key. When we surveyed the residents as a part of this study a few years ago, the number 1 thing that the residents wanted us to do was improve lakefront access. So our workers and our residents are thinking the same thing. So we're on the right path in a lot of ways. My question for you both is, actually all 3 of you, the mayor as well too. So where do we go from here with this? Is this something that's going to be reviewed yearly? Is this a living, breathing document? How do you guys look at adapting this, living up to this, modifying this? Where do we go from here?
I can share my thoughts on it. So, my past experience with this, you do review. It is a living document. You do review it periodically. You don't. A mission needs to be reevaluated. There's some decisions we'll have to make about how we roll it out. At my previous employer, we'd actually incorporated a performance evaluations. There would be a component in the performance evaluation that was related to the mission. As what you're doing related to the mission. And the values. So we have some decisions to make as far as that goes. I think as far as the rollout is concerned, there's certain things you do. We'll have there'll be some internal communicating that happens. There'll be some places that we put it. For example, that would be public facing, like the annual comprehensive financial report. I think I got that right. They changed the name of that a few years ago, but I believe it's annual comprehensive financial report. Now, so documents like that are public facing, they should be, there needs to be a place on the website for it. It's something that we want to be public about because we also, accountability is part of it. We want to be able to demonstrate that we're living up to our mission, our vision, and our values.
Also, our new employee handbook.
Great.
We'd like it there too.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, and it could be it could be a useful tool for decision making as well. You know, and when we think about, you know, resource allocation or projects that we take on and so on, we can evaluate those based on, does this fit our mission? Does this fit our vision? So it has those types of applications. There's other things, but I think those are the main points. Unless you had anything?
No, that's great.
If I could, so I went through this process in Bay, kind of did it with the police department, and the process is extremely important for our employees. They get a lot out of it. So it's an exercise that has multiple benefits, but one of the important things is the involvement of all the employees of the city, having a voice in where we're headed as a group of employees running the city. And so that's really important. The other thing I want to state too is a lot of our employees are residents, right? So they have a vested interest, not only because they work here, but because they live here. As Rob said, this is a living document. It has to be reevaluated at times. And he's 100% correct. This is something that when I instituted it at the police department, it was our guiding principles. So basically, your behavior has to be judged by those guiding principles. So whenever you do something, it should fit within the mission. If you're straying outside the mission, you're probably violating some conduct, right? So these are important documents for people to understand. It helps them guide them when they're in difficult situations and they have to make a decision. You look to these guiding principles to help you make that decision. And if you make them based upon these, you're probably in pretty good shape, right? So we'll get it out on the website. We'll get it out in our material. We want it to be public facing because that holds us accountable to those. And we want to make sure that the council's aware of it so you can hold us accountable to these as well. So,
Mr. Chairman, can I ask one follow-up question, please?
Yes.
Thank you. The mayor pointed out that in Bay, they had similar mission statements like with the police department and such. Are there any existing such statements with our police department or fire department that are going to remain or conflict, or what's the thought on that?
Yes, police and fire do have their own, and I think we knew that going in. So this doesn't eliminate those missions. Those remain in place. You know, there needs, one of the fire sessions was really instructive for me. They talked about, you know, I can't remember what their statement is off the top of my head, but it was structured in such a way that when they're in the heat of the moment and there's danger everywhere, they know how they're supposed to do their job. So I don't think that's the kind of thing we want to uproot. It's very important that they're able to, you know, act confidently in those types of, and the police is the same. I don't remember what it is off the top of my head, but same idea. They need to be able to internalize their statement and act accordingly under sometimes very difficult situations. So this does not supersede those.
Yeah, they're not contradictory, they're supplemental.
Yeah, and again, you know, fire and police, we did a lot of sessions with them, and they might have been the most vocal groups of all the groups, and this is their feedback as well.
Thank you. Mrs. Fender-Bosch?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you so much for doing this. I've been in organizations, and I know that it takes a lot of time, a lot of preparation, and the engagement part is so important. And you did it, because a lot of organizations struggle with engagement, right? Excuse me. So my comments have to do a little bit with where Mr. Shamir and the community development team is going in developing our economic development and strategies for the city. I would think that there would be a melding of vision and focus together with this, so that the branding of the city can move forward in one direction. I'm not saying that what they're going to be doing is going to be exactly the same, but I would think that there would be a marriage, there would be a blending there. And I hope that the leadership team here can work with community development and Mr. Shamir through the development of that other economic development strategy that you've been speaking about.
Yeah, of course.
because I would really like to see it on banners, maybe here above our podium, even console. I mean, we're part of the city, right? So our mission, our values, our vision needs to be married with what our employees and our staff and administration and the community is working toward. As Mr. Cos brought up in 2019, when there was a lot of engagement to develop the comprehensive land use plan. We all need to work together on it, right? Thank you.
Mrs. Goodwin.
Thank you. I just want to echo what everyone else said too. I've been in your shoes on some of these rebrands and mission and vision statements before, and they are a lot of work. It's a lot of input to take, and it's a lot to digest. And I think too, just in having conversations, I think this also sets everyone up on a path. There's so much opportunity now that you have this. This is just step one for all the really exciting things that can come. Marketing, economic development, building out all those things. It's not just instituting these kinds of feelings when you read these words, but I think it's also reestablishing a sense of pride that maybe has gone away a little. The city's changed a lot in the last 20 years. So I think that this, I know just from growing up here, going away for a bit, coming back, and being in the position I am today, I think this is a really integral part in a positive path forward. So I just wanted to thank you for that, because this is really exciting. And everything felt right. It encapsulated, I think, the best parts of being here is it's a hardworking, lovely place to be, and I think just continuing to work towards that this shapes that future. And then I also had 2 questions for you, if that's okay. Is that okay?
I'll allow it.
Can you tell who the third-party recruiting companies are?
I can send you the information.
Okay, thank
Yes.
you. And then are relocation packages, are those part of?
I don't think it's out of the question, but it would be something that Ms. Crossy and I would have to discuss.
Okay. I was just curious, not having any prior knowledge, so thank you.
Any more questions, comments? Mr. Shamir.
What I'd like to say is you guys have done a great job. I mean, that aligns quite well with previous works, as Mr. Koss stated. Both the 2019 report as well as the economic resiliency work that was just recently done. So that, I think, is a great alignment when it comes to the strategies that needs to be set forth for the economic development of the city. So thank you for a wonderful job, and I might knock on your door to look at some of the raw data, especially with respect to the consensus and the values that were driving them. Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, we're going to move on to the next report from the Civil Service Commission. Civil Service Clerk, Ms. Rose Marin.
Thank you. Inside the packet, a report, but I'll just highlight a few items just for council's review. And I wanted to also state that the Civil Service Commission is comprised of 6 resident members that I work with, and they work with the directors and the administration to fulfill appointments for classified. Yeah, I said 3?
You said 6.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all right.
3 terms, though. 6-year terms. That's where I was.
Sorry.
That's scary. Well, that's a hard one to replace. So, getting back, they work with the administration and fulfilling vacancies in the classified service. So, in particular, I wanted to note that in the fire department, the commission was informed months in advance that there were retirements. And in order to accommodate those fulfillments, they We're able to schedule a test, application process, and then the eligibility list, which is the list rank order of how people scored on their test, was able to be put together. And then that way, now that there's this vacancy, the department is now going through the interview process. So they just help with that fulfillment. And then in reference to the police department, as HR Director Kernia mentioned, there is a lateral list, and that recent appointment was based from that lateral list after that was put together. And I guess that's all I wanted to just mention. So just about, I've listed the eligibility list. You can see the terms are usually 1 year, and as they get close to the expiration date, we reach out to the to the director to see if there's still a need to have that in existence. And so if there's any other questions, I just wanted to kind of give you an overview of what process and what work is currently being taken on with the commission. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions, comments from the committee, council, administration? No? Thank you. Now, if we just go by the agenda, I know that we touched on a lot of these in the previous report, but I think we should still be able to open up for discussion the city engineering hiring process. I know that you touched on that, but just in case anybody had any more questions or comments on that? No? Mr. Smith?
I just look forward to us having someone to hire and put in that position. Thank you.
And in new business, it was just the appointment of the lateral entry police officer. That is Officer Ryan Fankhauser. We already moved that to the next week's meeting. And at this time, anybody from the public that would like to speak on anything in this agenda for 3 minutes, are you sure? No? Good, okay. All right, so nothing else left on here, so I move to adjourn the HR committee meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. The time is now 8:37, and the meeting is adjourned.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Kerna. Thank you, Mr. Ruah, for being here tonight. Mr. Ruah, I would like to particularly thank for his presentation. The collective committee meeting is now back in session. First on the agenda is the Finance Committee. We discussed that obviously earlier. Any more comments or questions regarding the resolution to cease the collection of 1.5 mil property tax? All right. Anything else? Any other questions or comments for Finance Committee Chair? Seeing none, I'll move on to Human Resources Committee Chair, Matt Reynolds.
Thank you. Earlier this evening, we had our HR committee meeting. We had an excellent presentation on the mission, vision, and values. Had a report from the Civil Service Commission, got updated on the city engineer hiring process, and also we have moved the oath of office to be administered to Officer Ryan Fankhauser at the next regular council meeting on February 9th, 2026. That's it.
Anybody have any other questions regarding HR? All right, let's move on to other business. The first item in other business, we have 2 additional items following the Avon Lake Historical Preservation Commission appointment, and that will be some items, an item at least one from Public Service and one from Public Safety. But first, we'll do the Avon Lake Historical Preservation. Mr. Koss.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. In everyone's packet is the resume of Mr. David Klima, and it is my intent at next week's City Council meeting to have a motion to appoint him to the Avon Lake, to fill the vacancy on the Avon Lake Historical Preservation Commission. Mr. Klima, his resume, he's Longtime Avon Lake resident. He had been living in Florida for a number of years. He's got a background in real estate, and as you could read his personal interest, he's got a really good sense of humor, and he describes himself as a historical architecture and preservation nut that loves to personally torture himself by restoring historic homes. So he's perfect for our group. So I hope to have a motion next week to appoint him. Thank you.
Any comments or questions on that? All right. Anything else from the historic preservation?
Just that they will be meeting this Thursday at the Gene Park Room of the Avon Lake Public Library. It's a rescheduled meeting that was supposed to have happened last week that was canceled due to weather.
Thank you. I am now going to turn it over to Mrs. Fenderbosh for an item regarding public service.
Thank you. We have an additional item on Wednesday night's meeting that I wanted to make everybody aware of. And we're going to move it to the very first item because we're bringing in the representative from Enterprise. Enterprise is the company that we use for our lease vehicles, and he's going to be making a presentation. I just want to remind everybody that we will not be in the chambers for this particular meeting. We're going to be in the first floor conference room. Okay? Thank you, sir.
Yeah, and when you're talking about the rental company, Enterprise, everyone knows them as a car rental place. So just when it comes to Enterprise, sometimes people might not understand that, but that's what it is. It's the people you see advertising on TV for car rental.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Mrs. Fenderbosh? All right, next there was a request to look at an item for public safety. Mr. Kaz.
Yeah, thank you very much. We're going to have an item that we'll discuss briefly here tonight, and then we'll also have a motion next week at Avon Lake at the next city council meeting, and it will be to accept a grant from Community West Foundation in partnership with the Cleveland Clinic Fairview Hospital in the amount of $45,885 to the Avon Lake Fire Department for the purchase of 2 Lucas mechanical CPR devices. Those are the devices, we've talked about them a number of times over the years when we have purchased them. Those are the ones that will do the chest compressions and frees up the paramedic firemen to do other life-saving work while that puts steady, consistent beats on the person that they are transporting to the hospital. And I think the mayor has some additional comments on this as well, too.
Thank you, Mr. Kaz. Yeah, this is a great opportunity for the community. The Community West Foundation, in conjunction with Cleveland Clinic Fairview Hospital, provides these fundings to the Avon Lake Fire Department. I want to thank Acting Chief Peter, who really spearheaded this effort to get these grants. These are going to replace 2 other Lucas devices that basically were aging out. So the timeliness of this is important, and obviously this then frees up additional monies. But these grants will cover the purchase of these 2 devices, which are so important to our community when we have these cardiac emergencies. So again, thank you to our fire department, and thank you to Community West Foundation and Cleveland Clinic for this donation.
Anything further, Mr. Kaz?
No, just that, Mrs. Rossmarin, if we could just have that as a motion for next Monday. Thank you.
Anyone, any comments on that? All right, next we go into legislation. The first item on our legislation is the ordinance that Mrs. Goodwin is presenting for the EAB, which is just really changing their name. Anything further for anybody on that? Mrs. Goodwin, anything more?
Nope, just that, to note that it would be renaming it from EAAB to EAB, which requires amendments to the city's code of ordinances in the EAAB, Tree Commission, and Council sections.
Thank you. Anything else? All right, next is Mr. Kaz has ordinance number 26-9 regarding entering into a multi-jurisdictional agreement for the Eastern Lorraine County Emergency Response Team. Mr. Kaz.
No additional information, but just bring up the point again that the emergency clause has been removed for this. And unless I receive conflicting information, I will be asking for suspension of the rule next week to pass this.
So you'll ask for passage on second reading?
Correct.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments on that? Okay. Seeing none, we go to first readings. The first reading that I know of is the removal of the 1.5 mil. I'm trying to think who else has any that I'm skipping. I can't think of any right now. Though there'll be the ordinance for the officer. That'll be at the beginning of the meeting.
Have an ordinance.
Yeah.
Okay.
For the, is it a resolution or you do it as a
Oh,
resolution?
I just thought the oath,
Okay,
whatever.
we're gonna do the oath, okay. First of all, anything else? All right, any miscellaneous business or announcements? Remember, we do have a special meeting regarding the salt. Any other miscellaneous business or announcements? All right, well, I'll adjourn our collective committee meeting. Thank you. We all set to go right into this? All right. All right, call for, to order the special committee, or the special council meeting for February 2nd. Have the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Liskovic, if you would lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. As a reminder, when it's a special meeting, the only matters to be considered at the special meeting are those that are on the agenda. I'd like to ask for the roll call, please.
Mrs. Fenderbosh?
Here?
Ms. Gentry? Here. Mrs. Goodwin?
Here.
Mr. Koss.
Here.
Mr. Reynolds?
Here.
Mr. Shamir?
Here.
Mr. Smith?
Here.
Mayor Spetzel?
Here.
Law Director Ebert?
Here.
Finance Director Crossy?
Here.
Public Works Director Liskovic?
Here.
We have legislation on the agenda this evening. Any additions or deletions? Seeing none, I would ask the clerk to read by title only. Resolution number 26-10.
A resolution authorizing the emergency purchase of road salt from National Salt Distributors Incorporated due to a supply shortage and declaring an emergency.
Mrs. Fenderbosh,
Thank you. I move for suspension of the rule requiring 3 readings.
call the roll.
Mr.
Please.
Koss.
Yes.
Mr. Reynolds.
Yes.
Mr. Shamir.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Mrs. Fenderbosh.
Yes.
Ms. Gentry.
Yes.
Mrs. Goodwin.
Yes.
Mrs. Fenderbosh,
Thank you. I move for passage of resolution number 26-10. And in discussion, the existing contract with Cargill for the supply of the road salt for municipal operations is what the city has presently. And Cargill has advised the city that it's unable to supply road salt in accordance with the contract due to a shortage. The contract with Cargill expressly provides that in the event they are unable to provide road salt, the city is authorized to obtain the salt from an alternative vendor as provided by Section 7.13 of their contract, and Cargill shall reimburse the city for the cost of such purchase. National Salt Distributors, Inc. of Bellefontaine, Ohio, is able to supply the city with road salt at a cost not to exceed $108,500, and adequate supply of road salt is necessary to ensure the safety of the traveling public and to allow the city to effectively maintain public roadways during winter weather. The inability to obtain road salt is a timely manner, constitutes an emergency affecting the public health, safety, and welfare of the residents of our lovely city. Council finds it's necessary and in the best interest to authorize the immediate purchase of road salt from National Salt Distributors, Inc. of Bellefontaine, with reimbursement to be made by Cargill, Inc. And this resolution is hereby declared to be an emergency measure, the emergency being the immediate preservation of the public peace, health, safety, and welfare of the city and its residents. Therefore, this resolution shall be in full force and effect from immediately after its adoption and approval by the mayor.
Thank you, Mrs. Fenderbosh. Anyone further? Seeing none, if you would call the roll call, please.
Mr. Cross?
Yes.
Mr. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Shamir?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Fenderbosh?
Yes.
Ms. Gentry?
Yes.
Mrs. Goodwin?
Yes.
Mr. Cos,
Move to adjourn?
please call the roll.
Mr. Cross?
Yes.
Mr. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Shamir?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Fenderbosh?
Yes.
Ms. Gentry?
Yes.
Mrs. Goodwin?
Yes.
Thank you all for coming. Have a great evening. Stay warm.